Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for checking out today's video. Today, I want to look at the hybrid in the Legend League. I get a lot of questions asking me how I use the hybrid in Legend League, and we're to look at a couple replays today, and I'll talk you through them. Okay, so taking a look at the first base here, very common base these days. I think a lot of people were stumped on this in the beginning, but now we've all kind of figured out exactly what you need to do. Basically, what I want to do is cut a funnel on two sides and send the hybrid up the middle. So here I'm coming in with my queen at 12 o'clock. And just Coco Loon Wall Breaker is going to let her come in, really establish that funnel. Just take our time, just waiting for this to kind of play out. I'm going to go ×2 here because this is a long walk. Then when I'm happy with that funnel, I'm going to have the king and the siege barracks come in and create the other side of the funnel. Now the queen's got the CC to deal with. And then you can see what's happening here. We're creating a funnel on both sides, the 12 and the 9, to send the hybrid up the core here. Going to heal our way in. Going to use a rage on them in the core. Going to go ahead and tome. And then heal our way out the back end. And yeah, and pretty much going to be it for this base. There's so much heavy stuff in the core that once you get everybody in there under tome, you've pretty much crippled the base. And even if all the troops die out, you still have the queen to clean up all the outside as long as the core goes down. But in this one, the world champion kind of clutched it there. So, all right, let's take a look at another base, a different type. Okay, so here we have one of these diamond style bases, and because the town hall's all the way on the edge out here, I can't queen walk this without killing my healers. So I use the Yeti blimp to take down the town hall. Now I bring the Yetis and the blimp on almost every raid, on every raid with the hybrid. I bring the Yeti bomb, and I just changed the siege machine based upon what my needs are for the base. This one, I decided to pick the town hall off. And one of the most important things about anything I do when I raid, I talk about pathing a lot, right? Well, what does pathing mean? Pathing is basically just narrowing down a base so my troops can move through the base as efficiently as possible. So here, just waiting for the queen to take down the CC. Got the poison down. Just waiting for that witch to come over there. I'm going to end up using the king on the enemy queen down here with a wizard. So here we go. Queen's moving in. A couple Coco Loons just to pull for Sam's. Don't find any, which is fine. I then put the baby dragon up here because I want the queen to come down this channel here, right? Because she'll take down this row of buildings, this row of buildings, and this row of buildings. So without this row of buildings here and the king coming down this side, it's a really narrow path. You see it's only basically 2 defenses wide, but really 3, what is that, 9, 10 tiles wide for the hybrid. So king down, taking on the enemy queen. I put a couple of hogs to get that bomb tower. And then I put the rest of the hybrid in. Here we go. Put the royal champ down to help as well. Everybody's moving in. I heal them up on the entry. Queen's about to go down, so I hit the ability. Really wanted that air defense down before it started targeting the queen's healers. That didn't happen, but that's okay. Still have a rage to use. Gonna use it on the hybrid because the queen is just about dead and there's no way to save her from the single target inferno back here. But you can see that core area where a whole lot of the key defenses were was so narrow that the troops moved through it so fast. And the Royal Champion's just kind of picking up on the 7 o'clock side to kind of clean up the defenses the hogs and miners didn't get to on their charge through the base. But yeah, sometimes these bases can be really tricky, and the best thing you could do is just break it down step by step or stage by stage. If my queen is here and she gets all of this, what can I do to narrow the pathing of the base? How can I cut a funnel on another side? And then what would that pathing look like? And that's hard to do in just 30 seconds, but it is doable. It just takes a little bit of practice. Okay, let's go ahead and look at another style of base. Okay, so here's a really popular base. Now, I have in the past tried to Yeti blimp this and then use that as a funnel for my queen. But for me with these kind of bases, what seems to work the best is just charging right at that single, because as long as you stay on top of your queen and just make sure that if you need to freeze, freeze. Make sure you rage when you need to and get the wall breaks. Wall break is all about timing. So just trying to get those wall breaks in there. Made sure to freeze that up so the queen didn't have to deal with that single target too long. Now I'm going to poison the CC. I put the warden with the queen whenever I know I'm taking more point defense than the queen can handle, even under rage. When you throw the warden in there with her, she could almost withstand anything anybody's going to be throwing at you. Now I was late on that second rage, and so the queen ability got used here. I'm going to go ahead and go for that last wall break, because you really want your queen inside of here. If I don't get this second break, she's going to walk out and around. Not the end of the world, but not what I want. So we get that break, and now she's going to step up in there and really get this funnel nailed down. Go ×2 here for just a second. Wait till she figures out which way she wants to go. Then put the king down for the funnel outside. Hog miner to assist the queen. Gonna have to use my freeze on that single target inferno to save my queen, which is unfortunate, but was necessary. Now I want to use my warden here to save my healers. I could have waited to make sure my blimp didn't eat any SAMs, but I didn't figure there was any SAMs that were going to be necessarily right in that area there. I thought they'd all be right at the 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock. So luckily that gamble paid off. So it makes it to the town hall, and the Yetis are going to go ahead and take it down while the hogs and miners work their way around the inner ring with the king cleaning up the outside trash. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at one more style of base, and then we'll call that a video. Okay, another base, this type is also very popular. Now with this one, I elect to go ahead and charge the town hall, because the town hall cannot reach the healers if I place them on the 9 o'clock corner here. Again, when you're charging into these, just know that there's tons of traps. You're going to have to rage right away. Always use a Coco Loon, which you pretty much should be doing in Legend League all the time anyway. And then, as needed, if you need to freeze, freeze. If you need to put the warden in with the queen, put the warden in with the queen. I could have elected to put the warden here, but I thought she could handle it without it. If things went really poorly, I would just use my freezes. So here I do have to use the freeze. I realized the queen's going down faster than the rage could keep her healed up. Using pretty much all my Coco Loons here to make sure that I'm pulling any SAMs that could be there. I really don't want my queen losing her healers. I used the final rage here. That was a mistake, because there's only one Expo shooting her. Did not need the rage. Now this is why you always keep all the siege machines, and you hear other people talk about this all the time. You want to have the flexibility to use any siege machine that you need when you're looking at the base to figure out how to cut pathing, right? How to narrow down the base. I figure if I get my slammer in here, right, and open this up, my king can go in there and help clean some of this out, and then my hog miner can go down this central path here. So that's the plan. There we go. Send the hogs and miners in. Now, of course, in my stone slammer, I have 2 Yetis. So if the king doesn't follow it exactly the path that we want, that's totally fine, because the Yetis can be their own cleanup crew. Had to use the queen ability there because she got a little bit low again. That was just a poor rage on my part. So we are going to lose the queen here, because the healers keep getting blown around by the sweeper, and they're just not going to heal her up fast enough, I don't think. Oh wait, I'm wrong. The queen doesn't go down. Never mind. No, there she went. Okay. I thought she went down in this raid, but it was the eagle that gets her. Now this raid, or this base, is basically a variation of a very popular base that my team used to run in Mobile Open Season 2, I believe. And I got pretty good at figuring out how to hit it from doing all the testing So I knew that this had a high chance of tripling. Now, it doesn't always triple. You know, sometimes I make a mistake or a poor decision, or the traps are placed in a way that makes this hit very tough. But, yeah. This time it worked out for us. I tried to wall break those Yetis in up there as they came around the corner, but they didn't go in. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope this helps you guys understand what I do when I do the hybrid for Legends League. Every base is a little different. Sometimes you need a different siege machine. Sometimes you're charging the town hall. Sometimes you're not. It just takes practice to kind of get the hang of whatever your skill set is. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys checking it out, and I will see you in the next one.